And man, I'll tell you, I can't be away from the studio for a day without something exciting happening. Now, we taped this show a couple days in advance, so barring anything crazy happening, which in this day and age it easily could, barring anything crazy happening over the weekend, I'm going to guess that the big story of the day is still Michael Cohen's testimony. And if not, there is one thing I want to bring out about Michael Cohen's testimony, because out of all the craziness, he started out, as everybody knows now because we've all seen the tape, he started out by saying that President Trump is a liar, I believe he said what? A racist, a con man, and a cheat. Okay, well, that was not news to most of us, but also interesting to hear somebody in her circle confirm it. There was a lot Michael Cohen said that was extremely interesting. The fact that he had been such a bad guy, in a way, gave him credibility now. We could talk about that, but there, as I say, there's something specific about his testimony that I want to get into, and it has to do with the questioning performed by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York City. Now, everybody knows AOC as the kind of leading, one of the leading Democratic socialists, young leftists in Congress. A lot of other politicians, I think, are either envious or resentful or both of her social media skills and her ability to meme with the best of them. But she really played it old school style in her questioning. And I think her questioning of Mr. Cohen was actually one of the most interesting and telling moments of the entire day. And after we play the clip, I'll tell you why I think so. So let's listen to a little bit of AOC questioning Trump's lawyer.
First, my colleague from Vermont had asked you several questions about AMI, the parent company of the National Enquirer. And in that, you mentioned a treasure trove, a quote, treasure trove of documents in David Pecker's office relating to information assembled from all these catch and kill operations against people who potentially had damaging information on the president. You also mentioned that the president was very concerned about the whereabouts of these documents and who possessed them. Does that treasure trove of documents still exist?
I don't know. I had asked David Pecker for them.
So you would say the person who knows the whereabouts of these documents would be David Pecker?
David Pecker, Barry Levine, or Dylan Howard.
Okay, thank you. Secondly, I want to ask a little bit about your conversation with my colleague from Missouri about asset inflation. To your knowledge, did the president ever provide inflated assets to an insurance company?
Yes.
Who else knows the president did this?
Alan Weisselberg, Ron Lieberman, and Matthew Calamari.
And where would the committee find more information on this? Do you think we need to review his financial statements and his tax returns in order to compare them?
Yes, and you'd find it at the Trump org.
Thank you very much.
So let me just jump right in here. I mean, she asked more good questions. Cohen answered them very directly. But this goes to what I've felt about the Trump story for a long time, as someone who's a longtime opponent of Trump, like probably most of the people, if not all of the people listening right now. I just want to say this, which is we need to go where the evidence is, not where our imaginations might prefer to have us go, not what seems more exciting or undercover or dramatic or like a made-for-TV movie or whatever. And the reason why I say that is because I think that our discourse on Donald Trump has been perverted by a combination of escapist fantasies that we were going to discover somewhere along the line that the KGB or its successor has programmed this man as a Manchurian candidate, or because we want a narrative that gives our life meaning. I think a lot of Democrats have thought, well, Russian conspiracy theories give a meaning to, political philosophies or approaches that it's not that my political beliefs don't work anymore if I'm a centrist Democrat. It's that Putin brainwashed everybody. I think we really got to get away from this if we want to do two things that I think we all agree we want to do. Number one, if we want to defeat or get rid of Donald Trump. Number two, if we want to change the political equation in this country for good, which means win the 2020 elections, win the Senate, get real progressive policies enacted. We're not going to do that with fantasies that so far there's no evidence. Michael Cohen says he didn't go to Prague and so on. Let's go where the evidence takes us. I had somebody say, I've talked about it on the program, that I'm a Russia skeptic. Well, a journalist is by training a skeptic. You go where the evidence is, not where you want it to take you. I think where the evidence is taking us is where I've suspected it would take us all along, which is that Trump is an old-fashioned oligarch, a corrupt oligarch. I think we will find the smoking guns in Trump's record. As far as Russia is concerned, if there's a smoking gun, it has to do with the hotel business and the real estate business in Russia, not with the GRU or some secret mind control experiment. That's my personal guess and belief. And so far, all the evidence is pointing in that direction. Two, I think if we want to look at foreign involvement in American politics and in Donald Trump's personal corruption, I think we should also be looking very, very closely at Saudi Arabia, at Donald Trump's relationship with Saudi Arabia. I think that's going to prove to be a huge deal. We on this program at the 0 Hour uncovered a secret recording of Donald Trump speaking at a fundraiser, at a closed fundraiser. There he carried Saudi Arabia's water. This was before the murder of Khashoggi, but he continues to do it. He does it at least as much as he does for Putin. He loves authoritarians. He loves oligarchs. Putin is heavily wired with the oligarchy in his country. So I think all the corruption we find with Trump is going to be related to Donald Trump making money. So let's follow that evidence wherever it leads us. And in terms of winning elections going forward, I'm going to say what I've said before a million times, but I'm going to say it one more time. Let's have an affirmative vision for the future, one that people will come out voting for, not just voting against someone they don't like.